issue of the Rohingyas, this distinct Muslim population that were so far officially recognized as an ethnic community. Ne Win's deputy, General Kim Yong, chief of Ne Win's military intelligence, in his book discovered that as early as 1966, the Burmese military started to see the Rohingya as a problem.
British government kekala re ko daria di problem ya pogera be. Pasro hobaga Bangladesh ka ni lu ri khola re. Khola pi ro ma dia mie ri pe de. Thoso nya le hobaga ka ni ro Bangladesh bek ka ni win la de tu ri ga ro abaru le mkhan nai lu.
The claim was that there were many illegal immigrants from Bangladesh because there was a war of independence going on. They started a military campaign which resulted in over 250,000 Rohingyas escaping to Bangladesh.
That was the very first wave of exodus of Rohingyas. That happened in 1978.
It was quite young. I still remember some things. There was a shooting by the Burmese military. Hundreds of families took shelter. And then later, everybody left. This is called Nagami Operation, King Dragon Operations. We left, I was very young, and I was put in a basket. And my another sibling was put on the other basket. My father carried. I was crying. My hands, legs were very like finger. So thin.
The 1978 wave was the direct result of centrally organized forced expulsion, organized by the central government in Rangoon.
I still remember the scream of the people every day. Every day, tens of hundreds of children died, pass away, die without food, malnutrition, dehydration. After bilateral agreement, we were sent back to Burma. When we returned there, I see the only jungle. House is covered by jungle.
I think Ne Win had no choice because the international community had proof that these people came from Burma.
He proceeded to essentially copycat what the Nazis did to the Jews in 1938. His legal advisors come up with the Citizenship Law. The intention was to make sure that Rohingyas were no longer entitled to either basic rights or citizenship rights. Anyone who had not resided in Burma as natives by 1824, they could not be entitled to automatic Burmese citizenship.
Now that is impossible because independence came in 1948, and whoever had been living in the country before that, many of the people in Myanmar, not only the Rohingya, during the British period, did not have any papers.
So they were natives, but they were falsely framed as Bengali migrants.
Great grandfather, yeah, Major Fusharu too, Dadara Tadazi and Goravay Mositi Yan. At the Tibet, in head Terragine, I do as it. I on the Sovian Golian, Sire of 180. I'm not over it out to put on the. I solely got to see them.
The law was brought in as a weapon of persecution The law wasn't pursued as an initiative to establish citizenship. The law was coded to primarily persecute the Rohingyas and to disenfranchise them as an ethnic community.
Myanmar, when at independence, it was one of the richest countries in Southeast Asia. And by the time they left office, it was one of the poorest nations in the whole world. One of the biggest mistakes Ne Win did was that in 1987, Ne Win had made all the big bank notes, $100 big notes, illegal.
He just declared that all the money was worthless. So everybody suffered.
Our family become bankrupt. But all the monies, around 1 million, no.
အဲ့ဒါလေဒုတိယဒုက္ခတစ်ခုအဲ့ဒီမှာစုတယ်စုပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကတိတ်တိတ်ပုံနဲ့တည်ရေးခင်းကိုဖန်တီးလိုက်တယ်
At the time of 1988 uprising, I was the regional strike committee general secretary.
The whole country, there was a democratic uprising. Started from Rangoon. All the schools, including primary schools, were shut down by the Burmese military. As students, we joined in democratic movement, protesting in Rakhine State for democracy. And the whole night and whole day shouting, democracy, democracy, democracy. All the races, all the religions were together. All the students were together. There was no any conflict in between any others in 1988.
88မှာအခုအရေးခင်းဖြစ်တာလေအဲ့တော့ထောင်လိုင်းရင်မှုဘဝပဲရှိသေးတယ်ထောင်လိုင်းရင်မှုပဲအဲ့တော့ဖြစ်လာတဲ့ခါကျတော့မှဗိုလ်ချုပ်ကြီးနေဝင်းကအဲ့ဒီအခြေအနေမှန်နေ तू မသိဘူးသူ့ဝန်ကြီးတွေကလည်းမတင်ပြရဲဘူးဗိုလ်ချုပ်ကြီးစောမောင်နဲ့အဘနဲ့တွားတွေ့ပြီးတော့မှအခြေအနေမှန်တွေကိုတွားတင်ပြလိုက်တယ်။တညာလေးသူစဉ်းစားပြီးမှနောက်တစ်နေ့မှာ
At that time, Aung San Suu Kyi had gained popularity. People began to know about her, and she formed the National League for Democracy.
မျိုးလင်းချက်ဖြစ်ခဲ့တယ်ဆိုတာကမျိုးမှန်းခဲ့တယ်ဆိုတာကတိတောင်ဆန်းစုကြည်ဒီကျွန်တော်လူလေးကောင်းဆိုဘိုးကျောင်းဆိုင်ရဲ့တမီးတော်ဖြစ်တယ်ဒီအတွက်ပဲယဉ်ကျေးခဲ့တာဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့တိုင်းပြည်မှာလူနည်းစုတွေခွေးတွေအများကြီးဆုံးရှုံးတော့အထူးသဖြင့် Muslim နဲ့ Christian ဘာသာ When the army took over in 1988 September 18 they allowed us to form parties and they promised that they will have a free and fair election and hand the power to the whichever party won. So I believe they promised. That was my monumental mistake.
The Rohingyas were already a marked population for persecution. When they decided to participate in democracy uprising, when they decided to support Aung San Suu Kyi and National League for Democracy, in the eyes of the Burmese army, they became doubly guilty. Before they were guilty for simply existing. Now they were expressing their political support for Aung San Suu Kyi and NLD party. And NLD and Aung San Suu Kyi were seen as the greatest threat to the military. They began to institute measures to essentially make life for Rohingya in their own areas utterly impossible.
ဂျူနဲ့တားမယ်ဆိုဟိုနာဆကာဆိုတာဖွဲ့ပြီးတယ်
Nasaka was essentially the Burmese equivalent of SS. Nasaka was the executioner.
အဲ့ဒါလည်းမှန်တယ်ဘုဘကဧည့်သည်တွေလေအဲ့ဒါကဒီမှန်းချက်ကရည်ရွယ်ချက်ကပါလဲဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒီနေဆက်ဒေသမှာအဝင်အထွက်တွေဟိုဧည့်သည်တွေလေဘင်္ဂလားဒေ့ရှ်ကနေဝင်လာတဲ့ဧည့်သည်တွေကိုဘာလို့ကဧည့်သည်ကိုလည်းမခံဘူးဒီမှာနေတဲ့လူဒီမှာမွေးတဲ့လူဆိုရင်တော့ဟုတ်ပြီမှန်ပြီရွာတွေကရခိုင်ရွာပဲနာမည်တွေကတိုးတော်ညာလဲရခိုင်ရမရှိတော့မွတ်စလင်တွေပဲရောက်
All kinds of restrictive measures were put in place. Severe restriction on physical movement. Nasaka started to extort money.
Guru Bahari, the very long Hazard, Kurilo Hazard. For go to Lilo Hazard, Farilo Hazard.
Yet in it. Pamso, a soya period who are there, Neza Machine, the Cosino and Rumani 90.
মানুষ লজাগৈ মতপান লজাগৈ কাদায়ৰে লজায়ৰে খৰখৰ লজাগৈ সম্ভৱ কাসুফিৰিয়া ইয়া কাসুফিৰি নয়ে
The population was extracted forced labor to build the military who will come and oppress them.
စီးနဲ့ကန်းတဲ့စနစ်နဲ့ကောင်းအောင်လို့ထိပ်ပေးထားတာအဲ့တော့လူအခွင့်အရေးဖောက်ဖျက်တာတွေမရှိဘူး
من حالم جگہ بنا با دور فرا کل ہڑے ہڑے گورا با چھوڑ ہڑے
မလုပ်ဘူး
Kim-yong was the guy in charge of institutionalizing killings and destructions of the Rohingya to the point that Rohingya community would be wiped out. Kim-yong should be persecuted for not simply crimes against humanity, for genocide.
လူကြီးထွန်းချုပ်ဟုတ်လိုအပ်တယ်
I was taken to military outpost and I was severely beaten up for not complying in forced labor sector. And following days, I decided to leave my country, Burma.
In 1991 and 92, the Burmese military operations in northern Rakhine State triggered another exodus. And this time, according to the military intelligence statistics, about 270,000 Rohingyas fled the country.
But in 2007, the economic situation was so bad that the monks decided to come out and to protest. And everybody was very happy because they felt now there was somebody that would take care of the people.
အဲ့လို main ဖြစ်တဲ့စာအုပ်ကိုတန်ဃာတွေကသူတို့ယင်တွေကခန်းစားချက်တွေသူတို့ယင်တွေကခန်းစားချက်ဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာပြောမှဆိုလို့ချင်းဒီတခါမှတွေ
Monks throughout the history had been seen as a force for good, rising up against the British colonial rule, or against the Japanese fascist occupation, or the Burmese armies, the repression against the majority Buddhist population. Monks were always on the right side of history. They were always supporting the people.
။ဘာဖြစ်လဲဆိုတော့ဦးဇင်းတို့ဒီတန်ခါအရေးခင်မဖြစ်ခင်မှာဦးဇင်းစူးစမ်းခဲ့ရတဲ့အားထုတ်ခဲ့ရတဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေက6နှစ်လောက်ဦးဇင်းရှိတယ်။
And that was when the military realized that the monks, they had to be controlled. The army sent truckloads of military commandos to hundreds of Buddhist monasteries. hundreds of monks fled the country, and thousands of monks were jailed.
Everybody was shocked. They did not think that the leadership would crack down. That's where the crisis of confidence came about. So the military decided that they needed to change.
ဘာလို့ဝန်ကြီးချုပ်ဆိုပြီးတရားတာဝန်ပေးပြီးတော့အဲ့ဒီပထမဦးဆုံးအာဆီယံအစည်းအဝေးကိုတက်ခံလိုက်တယ်မစ္စတာလီကွမ်ယူကြီးကဆိုရင်ကောင်းတဲ့အကြံဉာဏ်တွေပေးတယ်ခင်ဗျားတို့က military government နဲ့ military government ဆိုတော့ကဘာကနိုင်ငံတကာကနေမကြိုက်ဘူးတဲ့ civil government ဖြစ်အောင် civilian government ဖြစ်အောင်လုပ်ပါ opposition body opposition party တွေကိုတဲ့တိတ်ပြီးနှိပ်ကွက်တာမျိုးမလုပ်ပါနဲ့
So the Constitution of 2008, drafted by the military to legalize and perpetuate its stay in power, stipulates that the military is above the law.
The Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Border Affairs were governed by the generals.
The military allocated 25% of the parliamentary seats to itself.
And if you want to change the constitution to remove the military, then you needed more than 75% of the votes. You cannot get more than 75% of the votes because the military has 25% of the seats.
And their influence is a bit reduced, but still formidable.
In 2010, the military held elections, but nobody believed that the military was really going to change.
So they went ahead and held the elections, and surely they won the landslide, and they were in power. And then 10 days later, Aung San Suu Kyi was released.
They allowed her to run in the by-elections so that the world would say, oh, from being a prisoner, she's now one of the political leaders in the country.
We hope that this will be the beginning of a new era where there will be more emphasis on the role of the people in the everyday politics of our country.
The military was completely shocked that the NLD party remained extremely popular.
As the country started to change within the military, there were some who thought it was going too fast.
So they manufactured the Rohingya crisis.
It started with the story of a Buddhist woman being raped and killed by Rohingyas.
The pictures of the murder victim spread by information ministry went viral. What has not been proven is that this woman was raped.
After the woman was killed, and so-called Buddhists stopped the bus and brought 10 Muslim passengers and killed them in retaliation.
Before 2012, the world didn't know about it. It was a silent process to destroy people. You had no human rights. You were oppressed, arresting, killing, also raping, tortures, but no burning of homes. But after 8 June, the burning started.
The Rakhine villages were organized. By whom is a more difficult question. Letters were received by village administrators prior to the violence. They were told that all Rakhine villages needed to supply manpower to the operation. Buses came to pick them up on the morning of the 8th and 9th of June. We think thousands of people probably. We talked to some of the people who were bussed down. They said they were given free food when they arrived, and they were told where to go. Some were told to go and burn down Rohingya villages, and others were told to block escape routes.
military ko la se hum ho jama ara ku da to jam mapara se mom military police na saga tara hadar ro ko tin to ego olu ta kada yada he lote mara boyara da se तारा होता तारा की हो यो होना हुआ है दूर होना आ रहा होने वाले आया रहा से नहीं लोग के मुंह दिनों तो रहने तारा मारा था चांद डांगोरिया तारा तारे बोले
Salvasi devatta divala durotto. Tarvade মানুষ নসিত কইলে যে হরস হইছে সুন্দর দন করে নহরনের বাদে মানুষ যত গুলি মাঝে দুমুর মস্ত দিয়ে মাস্তমা মানুষ কইলে মানুষ যত দিয়ে এর হ্যাঁ ধর্মা গুলি মাঝে
আমার কিন্তু এলিয়া দাদা সাইনুয়া লিয়ার পর্যন্ত দূর পর্যন্ত নেড়ে নেড়ে দাদা মানুষ দলিত ঠেনালো বা দাদা আছে আইনা বাঁশের গুলিয়া দিলি আর দান দান দাদা আব্বা জাম বাজাবি
Ramayna Mamarovi Murat Gam Tiral Tamara then finding the got in earlier Murat would have had Maya Vawa Ashtavasaja Norva Shura Saibaja Layer Murat would have had military Montiveri Gulivai.
Sorry, Guruma Mari cannot have that more English policy. Mortore Durma Mari with the Kora or the Musaman Mari, Honovis and Arado, who the Yadia, who the
Arani there, Gorko the Magola, Aram had some my wine. Alabori Nigay, military national. Tarahan there, Goramagola, Dorandi, Badal Malhora, Aram Mukban, Mukbani, Tarapi, Monohoyan, obstacle good.
All Rohingya, once their villages were burnt down, were funneled into what is now the camp complex, where 120 to 140,000 Rohingya are basically imprisoned. They are concentration camps, detention camps. It's not intercommunal violence. This is the Burmese state organizing and watching over the destruction of Rohingya villages and the rounding up of hundreds of thousands of Rohingya into camps. It was instigated by the government-controlled press, where they had front-page news about the danger of Muslims and the rape and murder of Buddhists by Muslims. And this was to create a kind of a duty upon the Rakhine Buddhists to protect themselves against this threat, a threat which is invented and propagated by the Burmese state.
Wirathu, who dons the yellow robe or saffron robe as a monk, is one of the leading hate figures. I mean, there's also another Buddhist monk named Pamokha. Yeah, he is also one of the cohorts of Wirathu, and they belong to racist anti-Muslim organization called the National Defense League of Race and Faith, and they want Burma to be only for Buddhists. This organization was established with the blessing of the Burmese military.
အမုန်းတရားမပါဘဲနဲ့သမိုင်းအမှန်ကိုဘုန်းကြီးကဘာသာနှစ်ခုပြဿနာမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့နိုင်ငံရဲ့အချုပ်အခြာအာဏာကိုပါဖွင့်လွှတ်ရမယ့်အခြေအနေမျိုးရှောင်နေတဲ့ကိစ္စတစ်ခုဖြစ်ပါတယ်
โอ้တူဒီလာမထိုးကြတော့တဲ့ဒါကလိုင်းဂူယူနဲ့သူကလည်းဘယ်မှာခုမတဲ့ဒီနေ့ဘာမှခုမတဲ့ဘာမှရေငူတူဒိုင်ဒိုရူတော့ဘာမှနေလာတယ်ဒီလိုမှလည်းဒရှမတဲ့
In 2015 November, the Burmese military held another round of general elections, and Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy won in a landslide, and
the whole country was before it. In 2015, we won nearly 80%. So the people's support to her as well as NLD sustained throughout. But we must tolerate so far the army working together with them, willingly or unwillingly.
2015 general election မှာအထူးရွေးကောက်ပွဲမှာ NLD ကနေ Muslim candidates ဘာမှဆိုင်မှာ3-4 ယောက်လောက်ရွေးခဲ့တယ်စိတ်ထဲမှာပေါ့နော်တိမြာကြီး3-4ယောက်လောက်ရွေးခဲ့တယ်နာမည်ထွက်ပြီးတော့သူပြန်ဘလို့ပေးလေဆိုတော့ Muslim တွေကိုအမတ် NLD ကနေရွေးလိုက်ပြီဆိုရင်15ရွေးကောက်ပွဲမှာအမျိုးသားရေးအစွန်းရောက်သမားနဲ့ဖုန်ကြီးတွေကကလားနိုင်ငံသား Muslim တွေကိုအမတ်ရွေးခိုင်းတယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့သူ
It's only recently that the government started using Bengali to identify the Rohingya people.
You mean the people who are known to the world as the Rohingya? They want themselves to be called Rohingya. That's why we have to call them Rohingya. But actually, it's not their. It's wrong.
It's actually wrong to use the word Bengali. They are not from Bangladesh, they're from Myanmar.
စစ်ထုတ်လိုက်တဲ့အခါမှာနိုင်ငံသားဖြစ်တဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေကနိုင်ငံသားဖြစ်ပြီးတော့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံအတွင်းမှာပဲ
With regard to citizenship, a strategy with specific timeline has been developed to move forward the national verification process.
এবারে টেটেকুজিতে কান্নাসে মকসুদ আরা বুঝিত দিয়ে যে আরা হন সরকারের হালতের বুঝি না যে আরা 22 তারিখ করে আছে সারা হারা আগাগুড়া গুল্লাম বেগুন তালা করে ফেলি যে 22 তারিখ অবসর মাঝে
In some Muslim communities, their leaders have decided that they are not to join in the verification process.
তোমারা এমবিসি কার্ড যদি ল দলে দেশিয়ানা তাই ফেরিবা নলে তোমারা দেশ তাই দিন একদম তোমার গরুয়া দিলাম তোমার দাসে পুরা হলাই
We would appreciate it if all friends could persuade them to join in the process because they have nothing to lose by it.
The National Verification Card is a card which allows you to say that you have now become part of the national verification process. What is the process? There is no such process.
But this is a process which needs cooperation from all communities.
The National Verification Card is a way of pressuring the Rohingya to legally identify themselves as foreigners so that they legally won't be under the jurisdiction of the Burmese government.
MBC card kori sisian loile yara koalai to side dia ode jaga ara bidar giros ekai hat kanada sara kike lori sori bare din dana varion shara shis begin সরকারের যাবে গো ইতারা তুদাসে ara tu din muzuri lolere ha puri odin dila gor mane gor bana ara dase hilla beton ola bana ya bana halabu gulam bana halabu.
And their refusal to sign it led the military to decide that either you got to get out or we're going to kill you if you don't sign it.
The military had already moved in reinforcements. So my question is, why?
Unhappily, on 9th October, 3 police outposts were attacked by armed Muslim groups. There were further attacks on 11th October and 12 November, and these clashes resulted in loss of life, injuries, burning of villages, and the displacement of peoples in the affected areas. Consequent to these attacks, the government declared the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army responsible for acts of terrorism in accordance with the Counter-Terrorism Law, Section 6, Subsection 5.
ARSA is the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. It is the new name or the reformed name of what I would call a ragtag group of rebels that live in northern Rakhine State. They have reportedly attacked the military in October 2016 and August 2017, but frankly we don't really have evidence beyond the Burmese military and the ARSA, both of which are not credible sources of information.
Burmese military, okay, even if ASA is true, their tactic is never to attack the army. They will attack the population, and that's what happened with the Rohingya.
Aku ha the kai bi ne patat lo mo ma ne tren ni lunt thong ni de. Lok jan ne tren ni lunt thong ni da shi de. Lok jan tren ni. Teke tat ka lai ma lok phe ne lok de so bi ma rin chin ne so bi lok ta ni shi de. Ma hou bu da ri ya. Ba so lok jan mi tren ni lunt ni la.
In 2017, the military started reinforcing all their troops, and they were combat troops. They were not honorary garrison troops.
Well, the Burmese Army brought in gunship helicopters from which they were firing weapons and artillery, rocket launchers.
We have reports from Rakhine that they were told officially by the military that they needed to leave in the few days before the 25th of August. This was in preparation for the genocidal attacks that happened later on in August.
After several months of seemingly quiet and peace, on the 25th of August, 30 police outposts, as well as the regimental headquarters in Downdanza village, were attacked by armed groups. The security forces have been instructed to take full measures to avoid collateral damage and the harming of innocent civilians. We have never been soft on human rights in this country.
তুলাতুলি হালত করে 30 তারিখ আগস্ট 2017 বুধবার দিন ঠিক 8টা বাজে আছে মিলিটারি তুলাতুলি করলে যে ও তোর মাথা তুলে
बाजे मारे गले बाजे ये करे जड़ा वाला की तो बुरा मरे सही बात ये वाला तो हम मारे गले आ माया तो ये तो दुनिया की देखो कर
Zona sila on tal khas wa nildin la on dia dot on jalde je kisu in khala diye gura main
wala de mero da kala de gane ye thara da satya no daradi
ar ke suda sa suri no dar gura gura main se tara halat khala diye
ye dan gurmadan tu tara yadu ara ano sine handile ba horo fo ano sine han sulamade ba yo bonni no sine handile তারপরে আর আইলাম যাতে যাতে মানুষ তোরা রই তো ফারবার তো তুলি যাতে মারা যাবে আর তুলনা করতে গুলি মারতে গুলিটা বলে তো জানি তুলনা
পুরোনোর বাদে দোয়া বাজেট দেখে তো অনেক গড়ি গড়ি আছে 6 জন 5 জন গড়ি গড়ি মাইয়া মাইনা কল পশ্চিমকে তুলে গড়ি দেখা যায় আর এটার কোনো খবর নাই আর অবস্থান হতে যে বা ফারাই মত খালত তুড়ি মত কাহ অবস্থান আছে খবর গাতম মধ্যে ফোন নেওয়া যায় আর ডক্টর গাছ আছে তুলা গাছ বট গাছ কল আছে যে পুরানা বট গাছ যাব কিনার বড় গুলি মারা আছে না দিলা নজে জজেন দিলা পরে জরর পুরা গুলি মারা মান দিলা যে
Murat made, jungle made, gyal luka tekke. Batani hadiri sinte, batani dahana da zoro der, juk kadar kosong juk pia gunga atma di baragi. Zone kadaliyo. Nakundiane tiai bade intro guli mara suji tavore intu bulu zayore
walla aru nacheso misari ro nachuga nachina usalate
ereka Shilhali kan farase yan made member Shumali member here boy here batani hawai wallahi badala rahmatullah malishna Suma itu bulu zayore tabor inshallah re por Bangladesh yani diam
ये दुनिया के बारे पहला दुको लड़ी इंडियन हरियो आयोरे रे बुरादरा नौले भारत दे किस्म ढूंढ जार कोई
Edo ko paya se vai var bo হাজন দেখগুলো বগুনার মারি ফেলা মনিটরি 2 বছর আগে বন্ধু আবায়ক মার ফুয়াক মনে চলে মরে গেলে যাবো তো কি করি মনে চলে বাম্মা ফোনটা আল্লাহর দিতে চাইলে দিখারে বাম্মা হদিন বই না হদিন বাই না দিবার না বাম্মা
25,000 Rohingya were killed by the military during that time. As Min Aung Hlaing, the head of the military, he called it unfinished business. The business being the destruction of the Rohingya.
Edo hoda bangili in hari vana nahari mori vana dawi aja bamma mori gede duan jahe dunek to pura gede bamma are zeta khamno mori khala gede tara di vana da sama mari tara da jamre khari ara hono na gai
arkani baide arkanur bone shunure hazara hazara mari velare ruhanga zati re e bayani hazara hazara mari velare ruhanga zati re arkani baire ruhanga zati re ailam
everyone. Our next segment is poster presentation at the lobby, and it's open for all, so you can just go and visit that place. And our closing ceremony is going to be held at 4:30, so we request you all to come back within 4:30. Thank you.